Indian Prime Minister Modi and Russian President Putin held a private 45-minute meeting inside Putin's limousine during a summit in China, a powerful symbol of deepening ties. As the West tries to isolate Moscow over Ukraine, India is strengthening its relationship with Russia, continuing oil purchases and diplomatic engagement. This move signals India's intent to assert its strategic autonomy, balancing relations with both Russia and the US. For Russia, it's a diplomatic win. For India, a calculated step in a shifting global order. The world is watching as these alliances reshape the geopolitical landscape. Violent protests have erupted across Indonesia after lawmakers approved a lavish housing allowance for themselves, sparking outrage in a struggling nation. Demonstrations have escalated into deadly clashes, with several killed and hundreds injured. President Widodo has suspended the allowance and called for calm, but public anger now targets broader issues of corruption and inequality. The government faces a critical test: restore order and address deep-rooted grievances, or risk further instability. Indonesia stands at a crossroads. The Trump administration's tariffs are heading to the Supreme Court, after a federal appeals court ruled them improperly imposed. The former Treasury Secretary remains confident the court will uphold the tariffs, which were justified as emergency measures tied to national security and the fight against fentanyl. Critics call it executive overreach, arguing the policy disrupts global trade and uses public health as a pretext. The outcome could redefine presidential power over trade for years to come. Businesses and consumers await a decision that will shape the US economy. In eastern Afghanistan, a 6.0 magnitude earthquake has killed at least 800 people, with many more injured and missing. Survivors are digging through rubble by hand, as remote villages remain cut off and hospitals are overwhelmed. The Taliban government has appealed for international aid, but political and logistical challenges slow the response. Helicopters are airlifting the critically injured, but the need for shelter, food, and medical supplies is urgent. Afghanistan faces a humanitarian catastrophe layered on decades of hardship. Liverpool's bid for Crystal Palace defender Mark Guehi collapsed on deadline day after Palace failed to find a replacement. Guehi, eager for the move, remains at Palace, his professionalism noted, but his ambitions put on hold. The failed transfer highlights the complex, often ruthless nature of the football market. Liverpool must rethink their defensive plans, while Guehi faces an uncertain future. The fallout will impact both clubs in the months ahead. Brentford's Wissa has joined Newcastle United for £55 million, ending a protracted transfer saga. Newcastle, flush with funds from Alexander Isak's record sale to Liverpool, made Wissa their top target. Wissa's arrival signals Newcastle's ambition to compete at the highest level. The move is celebrated by fans, but brings pressure for immediate results. It's a new chapter for both Wissa and Newcastle. The contrasting transfer stories of Wissa, Isak, and Guehi have reignited debate over player power in football. Some criticize players for forcing moves, while others point to clubs' own lack of loyalty. Guehi's failed transfer shows professionalism doesn't always pay off in today's market. The balance of power between players and clubs is shifting, fueling a volatile transfer landscape. The debate over ambition, loyalty, and business in football is far from settled. That's your roundup of today's top stories, from global summits to natural disasters and the drama of the transfer market. Each event ripples far beyond its origin, shaping lives and headlines worldwide. We aim to bring you not just the news, but the context and human stories behind it. Stay tuned and subscribe for more updates as we continue to track these defining narratives. Thanks for watching.